The college volleyball season is about to begin, and it's going to be bigger than ever before. You're listening to the College Sports Superfan, and we're talking about the 2024 college volleyball season, which is about to begin as well. The first big matchups are on August 27th, coming up real soon next week. Obviously, for college volleyball, it always struggles with the fact that it coincides with college football. However, there are trends that suggest that the sport is becoming more popular, as ESPN has made this the most expansive and most easily accessible and watchable season in college volleyball's history. We've got it up on the screen now. These are all the big-time matchups for college volleyball this season. And as you can see, there's a lot of big-name programs on there, and even a game in prime time on ABC right in the middle of the season between Nebraska and Louisville. But as we begin the season in today's video, we're going to talk about the games in August. The two big games on August 27th, and then a massive matchup in Knoxville between Penn State and Tennessee on August 30th. So let's begin with the August 27th games. Both of these two are in Louisville, Kentucky, which is also where the season is going to end as well. This is the Final Four matchup in the KFC Yum Center, and it's also where the season is going to begin. Nebraska starts the year ranked number 2, and let's just say this, they're loaded, absolutely loaded top to bottom. They have star players that are veterans, they've got star players that are younger, they've got a fantastic head coach, and they're coming off of another incredible season. Let's start off with this. Bergen Riley returns as the setter after an insane freshman season where she won Big Ten Setter of the Year as a freshman. They also returned Captain Lexi Rodriguez, who was the Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year and was on the first team for the third straight season. The Huskers also have 5 of the 18 preseason Big Ten first-teamers, and again, the Big Ten has expanded to include Washington, Oregon, UCLA, and USC, and they've got some solid squads too. And they includes outside hitter Taylor Landfair, who's transferring in from rival Minnesota, and she had a fantastic season with the Golden Gophers last year. Now she's on the Nebraska Cornhuskers to try to win a national championship. Keep in mind, this is a team that went 33-2 in the regular season last year and only lost one conference game. They were basically the number 1 team all season until the national championship against Texas, where Texas won for the second straight year. Now moving on to the Kentucky Wildcats that they will be playing. Kentucky, they have a scrimmage against Dayton, who's a really solid squad. Some polls have Dayton ranked number 22, so they are in the top 25. So that's great for Kentucky. They get to play a team who's really, really good to help prepare them for playing a powerhouse such as Nebraska. Unfortunately, as I'm recording for this video, they have not played their scrimmage against the Flyers, as I'm recording this on Thursday, and they play the Flyers Friday night. And unfortunately, just with my work schedule, this is the way I have to do it. So I wish I could have waited till after that scrimmage where we could learn a little bit more about Kentucky's team before making this preview. However, what we do know is star player Eleanor Beavan is from Louisville, Kentucky, where this game would take place. So maybe her family and friends will show up and create more of a home crowd environment for the Wildcats and make it really feel like a difficult road game for Nebraska. That being said, despite what they do in their scrimmage against Dayton, that's not really going to change my perspective on how I think this game is going to go. Nebraska is just way too loaded, way too deep, even though Kentucky's starting off the year as a top 10 team. In some polls, they're number 10, in some polls, they're number 9. Nebraska, to me, could possibly be the number 1 team in the country, and I think they win this game in either 3 or 4 sets. Now to talk about the next big matchup. This one I think will be much closer and much more exciting. It's between Wisconsin and Louisville. Louisville, of course, is the home team for this matchup. Let's talk about Wisconsin first, though. They just had a scrimmage, fortunately, against Bradley, so I can talk about that scrimmage. where they swept the Bradley Braves, who were not a super impressive team, but the newcomers stole the show. Freshman Trinity Shad Series had 9 kills, and freshman Charlie Fuhrbringer led the team with a hitting percentage of .341 and also had 36 assists in her debut. So these two freshmen are superstars for the Badgers. And then also CeCe Crawford looked really comfortable in her new role as a leader for the team. She's in her 5th year, but interesting to note, this is her first year as a starter, so she's had to wait her turn. As for Louisville, the Cards went 27-5 last season, and they bring back the ACC Player of the Year in Anna DeBeer and the ACC Defensive Player of the Year in Elena Scott. They also returned 5 starters and had 4 players on the ACC first team heading into this season. That, coupled with the fact that they have home court advantage, and I actually think Louisville is going to get a slight upset over Wisconsin, as in one of the polls I'm looking at, the Badgers are number 3 in the country, and Louisville is number 6 in the country to start the year. But with the veteran experience the Cardinals bring back, the home court advantage, the fact that this is a close matchup anyways, I'm going to lean towards Louisville's way and say that they start the year with a huge victory. Now moving on to the last of the 3 matchups we're going to talk about, Tennessee hosting Penn State. Now one poll I've seen Tennessee ranked number 9, and another one I've seen them ranked number 15. Penn State also a little bit all over the place, and one poll I've seen them ranked number 7, and another poll I've seen them ranked number 12. So they're kind of all over the place also. Let's talk about the Lady Vols real quick. They bring back All-American setter Caroline Kerr and veteran middle blocker Keandria Granberry. They also bring back 2 impact transfers to be outside hitters because they lost their 2 superstar outside hitters from last season. They bring in Nina Kajic, who was the CAA Player of the Year at Towson, so a small conference team, but she made a big impact. And they also bring in Hayden Kubik, who was a former highly touted recruit who went to Nebraska, but because the Cornhuskers are so deep, she just did not see very much playing time in her freshman season. And Tennessee said, you come over here, you're going to play for a top 20 team, and you're going to get immediate playing time. She said, sign me right up for that. So the Lady Vols, they lost a lot of production, but they did have a good incoming transfer class that I think is going to make up for that a little bit. Will it make up for it enough to beat a team like Penn State? We'll say in just a second. The Nittany Lions, unfortunately, I couldn't really figure out too much about this team. There just isn't much out there. I think they're keeping the roster somewhat secretive in how they're going to set it up. They also didn't have a preseason scrimmage that I could find, so it seems like they're just going to jump right into the season and play a super difficult opponent on the road just to kick things off like that. And to me, that's typically not a good recipe for success. They have a difficult schedule as they go on the road to take on Tennessee. Then they go on the road to play Temple, which should be a win, but still, that's a road game back-to-back. They return home to take on Louisville on September 3rd, and then they go on the road to take on Kentucky on September 6th. So if you guys like this video, and if we know more about Penn State after these matchups, which we will, then I could probably cover those games as well. For now, though, because I'm not too familiar with the Nittany Lions team like I am this Tennessee team, I'm going to actually say the Lady Volunteers get a upset home in Thompson Bowling Arena and win this one in 5 sets. And again, that's just because I know more about Tennessee's team. They got a home court advantage. I haven't seen too much about Penn State and what their preparation is for heading into such a difficult team and environment to start the season. So I'm rolling with the Lady Volunteers in this one. All right, guys, that is the early season college volleyball preview. I think this is going to be an amazing college volleyball season. It's going to be covered more than ever before, and the popularity of the sport slowly seems to be growing. So let's get hyped as you're listening to the College Sports Superfan. Please like and subscribe.